Welcome to the Historypedia channel. My name is Peter and today I'm going to tell you about an ancient world history. The Vandals, an East Germanic tribe that played a significant role in the decline of the Western Roman Empire. The Vandals originated in what is now modern-day Scandinavia and eventually migrated to the area of present-day Poland. In the 5th century AD, they launched a series of military campaigns that ultimately led them to establish a powerful kingdom in North Africa. Genseric, also known as Geiseric or Gaiseric, was the most prominent leader of the Vandals and the king of the Vandal Kingdom from 428 to 477 AD. He played a significant role in shaping the history of the Vandals and their interactions with the Roman Empire. Genseric was born around 389 AD, and little is known about his early life. He ascended to the throne after the death of his brother, Gunderic. Under his leadership, the Vandals embarked on an ambitious military campaign that would establish their kingdom as a major power in the Mediterranean. In 429 AD, Geiseric led the Vandals across the Strait of Gibraltar and invaded the Roman province of Africa, which encompassed territories in North Africa. The Vandals swiftly conquered the region, establishing their capital at Carthage. Genseric's military successes were aided by the internal strife and weakened state of the Western Roman Empire. During his reign, Genseric led numerous naval expeditions and raids, capturing territories and plundering wealthy cities along the coasts of the Mediterranean. The sack of Rome by the Vandals in 455 AD was a significant event in the decline of the Western Roman Empire. Led by their king, Genseric, the Vandals launched a successful raid on the city of Rome, resulting in widespread looting and destruction. The sack of Rome in 455 AD was not a full-scale invasion, but rather a targeted attack on the city. Genseric, having established the Vandal Kingdom in North Africa, sought to secure favorable terms with the Western Roman Empire through diplomacy and the threat of military force. When negotiations broke down, Genseric saw an opportunity to extract concessions from the Romans through a show of military power. In the spring of 455 AD, a Vandal fleet under Genseric's command arrived off the coast of Italy. The Vandals bypassed the defences of Ostia, the main port of Rome, and sailed up the Tiber River to approach the city. Rome, at this time, was a shadow of its former glory and had already experienced several sackings and pillages over the preceding decades. The Vandals entered Rome relatively unopposed, as the city's defences had been neglected and its garrison was weakened. The sack itself lasted for about 2 weeks, during which the Vandals looted and plundered extensively. Valuable treasures, including gold, silver, and precious artifacts, were seized, and many buildings were damaged or destroyed. Despite the plunder, the Vandals did not engage in large-scale massacres or widespread violence against the inhabitants of Rome. Genseric had given strict orders to spare the lives of the citizens and avoid unnecessary bloodshed. However, there were instances of individual acts of violence and brutality. The sack of Rome in 455 AD had a profound impact on the Roman psyche and further undermined the authority and prestige of the Western Roman Empire. It was a stark reminder of the empire's vulnerability and the inability of the Roman authorities to protect their own capital. Genseric was known for his shrewd diplomacy and military strategies. He maintained a strong navy, which allowed the Vandals to dominate maritime trade routes and control the seas. Genseric also formed alliances with other Germanic tribes and engaged in diplomatic negotiations with both the Eastern and Western Roman empires. Despite his reputation as a formidable warrior and military leader, Genseric also implemented policies to ensure stability and prosperity within the Vandal Kingdom. He established a legal code known as the Vandalic Code, which provided guidelines for governance and the administration of justice. Genseric's reign came to an end in 477 AD when he died at an advanced age. He was succeeded by his son, Gunderic, who faced internal unrest and external pressures that would eventually lead to the downfall of the Vandal Kingdom. Genseric's legacy is complex and controversial. Roman sources portrayed him as a ruthless and destructive figure, emphasizing the Vandals' pillaging and the sack of Rome. However, it is worth noting that these accounts were written by his enemies and may have exaggerated his actions. Genseric's military achievements and his ability to establish a powerful kingdom in North Africa solidified his place in history as one of the most significant leaders of the Vandals. The Vandals were known for their aggressive military tactics and their plundering of cities and towns. They frequently raided and sacked various regions, including Sicily, Sardinia, and the coasts of Italy. The most famous and notorious act associated with the Vandals is the sack of Rome in 455 AD, during which they looted valuable treasures and vandalized many buildings. The term vandalism itself derives from the Vandals' reputation for destructive behavior. However, it's important to note that the historical accounts of the Vandals have been colored by biased Roman sources, and some portrayals may exaggerate their destructiveness. Nonetheless, the Vandals' military activities had a significant impact on the events leading to the fall of the Western Roman Empire. The war between the Vandals and the Byzantine Empire in 533 AD was a significant conflict that ultimately led to the downfall of the Vandal Kingdom. The Byzantine Emperor Justinian I sought to reclaim North Africa from the Vandals and restore it to imperial control. At the time, the Byzantine Empire, also known as the Eastern Roman Empire, was under the rule of Justinian I, who aimed to restore the territorial integrity of the Roman Empire. One of his primary objectives was to regain control over the rich provinces of North Africa, which had been under Vandal rule since the early 5th century. The conflict between the Vandals and the Byzantines began when the Vandals under King Gelimer invaded and captured the Byzantine province of Sardinia in 533 AD. This incursion was seen as a provocation by Justinian, providing him with a pretext to launch a military campaign against the Vandals. Justinian assembled a substantial force, including both land and naval forces, under the command of the skilled general Belisarius. The Byzantine fleet set sail from Constantinople and arrived in North Africa in the summer of 533 AD. The Byzantines launched a series of successful campaigns against the Vandals. Belisarius led his forces to capture key Vandal strongholds, including the cities of Leptis, Magna and Carthage. The Vandal king Gelimer initially put up a strong resistance, but he was ultimately defeated in a decisive battle at Tricamarum in December 533 AD. Following their defeat at Tricamarum, the Vandals' resistance crumbled. Gelimer was captured, and the Byzantines quickly consolidated their control over the Vandal Kingdom. The war effectively ended in 534 AD, with the Byzantines establishing their authority over North Africa. The fall of the Vandal Kingdom marked an important victory for Justinian and his efforts to restore Roman control in the West. North Africa was reintegrated into the Byzantine Empire as the province of Africa, and it remained under Byzantine rule for several centuries. The war between the Vandals and the Byzantine Empire had significant consequences for both sides. It weakened the Vandal Kingdom and shattered their power, while it bolstered the Byzantine Empire's position in the Mediterranean and extended its influence in the Western Mediterranean. The conflict also had an impact on the broader geopolitical landscape of the time. The Byzantine Empire's successful campaign against the Vandals laid the groundwork for further Byzantine military expeditions in the West, including the reconquest of Italy from the Ostrogoths. Overall, the war between the Vandals and the Byzantine Empire in 533 AD was a turning point that contributed to the eventual decline of the Vandal Kingdom and the resurgence of Byzantine power in the Mediterranean. The legacy of the Vandals in modern-day Tunisia is primarily evident in historical remnants and cultural influences. While the Vandals' rule in North Africa lasted for about a century, their impact on the region's history and culture is notable. 1. Archaeological sites. Several archaeological sites in Tunisia bear witness to the Vandals' presence. The most prominent among them is Carthage, the capital of the Vandal Kingdom. The ruins of Carthage, including the Roman amphitheatre, Roman villas, and other structures, showcase the layers of history from the Vandal era. 2. Vandalic artifacts. Archaeological excavations in Tunisia have unearthed various Vandalic artifacts, such as coins, jewelry, pottery, and weapons. These objects provide valuable insights into the material culture and craftsmanship of the Vandals. 3. Vandalic influence on language. The Vandals introduced the Vandalic language, a Germanic dialect, to North Africa. While the Vandalic language did not survive in the long term, it likely had some influence on local languages and dialects spoken in the region. 4. Architectural influences. The Vandals left their mark on the architectural landscape of Tunisia. It is believed that the Vandals contributed to the construction and renovation of various buildings, although specific examples directly attributed to them are scarce. 5. Cultural exchange. During their rule, the Vandals interacted with the local population, including the Berbers and the Romanized inhabitants. This cultural exchange likely had an impact on the development of the region's society, traditions, and customs. It's important to note that the Vandalic era in Tunisia was relatively short-lived compared to the longer periods of Roman and Byzantine influence. However, the Vandals' presence left an imprint on the historical and cultural tapestry of the region. Today, Tunisia proudly embraces its diverse heritage, which encompasses not only the Vandals but also the Phoenicians, Romans, Byzantines, Arabs, and other civilizations that have shaped its history. Thank you for listening. Stay tuned.